honor for me to be here today for the first time, as you said, as chair of this single resolution board. The last time you saw me, I was just a candidate. So let me thank you for the support this committee has given me. Let me go now to the two items I'd like to develop today. The first one will be around the start of a new phase for the Single Resolution Board, and the second, the topics and priorities we have to address in our work. Considering that we are starting a new phase, that's true that the ECON is reaching a number of key milestones. We've put in place resolution plans for all our banks. The Single Resolution Fund will reach its target amount at the end of this year. The MREL continues to be built up, and banks are reaching the target date for the implementation of our expectations for banks. So these milestones could be considered as phase one. But now, after 8 years of existence, it's time for the Single Resolution Board to enter into phase two. I want to see how this SRB could function and deliver better. We'll undertake a strategic review this year. We'll listen to and engage with our staff, with the wider Single Resolution Mechanism community, as well as the industry. Then we'll develop a new plan to take the SRB from 24 to 28, 5 years. This will better equip the SRB to deal with the various challenges and to ensure banks can be resolved. While in phase one, the focus was rightly on putting resolution plans into place, in the coming years, the SRB must shift its focus to make sure that resolution plans can be put into practice effectively. So what does it mean? This means pursuing all our core tasks, obviously, but on top of these core tasks, this means testing and checking that the resolution plans actually work in realistic simulations. This means having on-site inspections at banks' premises. And this means for us to keep an eye on a whole range of topics that could impact our work and or the bank's resilience. And this is exactly my second part. Let me mention under our scrutiny 6 areas of attention. The first one is obviously the economic and geopolitical situation. Depending on its evolution, banks could not be able to issue MREL under the same conditions as before. We can know that the gap for MREL shortfalls has been steadily closing, but we don't know if the conditions will be still positive for banks in the future. I also take good note that the ECB asks banks to be vigilant on their non-performing loans. The second item is Basel III and the transposition in Europe, obviously. This is something you know very well here. This topic is not only relevant for supervisors, but also for the SRB's work. We must remember that every time there is an increase in prudential requirements, it automatically translates into an MREL increase. I think it's something that has to be acknowledged. Third, CMDI. Here it's a draft, not yet issued, by the way. And here I really count on your support. In June last year, the Eurogroup called for the CMDI to broaden the application of resolution. I agree with this idea. However, there cannot be a wider application of resolution without sufficient access to funding. That's clear. Deposit guarantee schemes could play a role here, and it should be a key one, together with the Single Resolution Fund. We await with keen interest to see the proposals by the Commission in the coming weeks, and I'm sure that we will discuss them. 4, the non-banking financial institutions, well, what we call the NBFI. I would like to focus today on the insurance side. There are interconnections between the insurance sector and the banking one. There are financial conglomerates in Europe. So a resolution regime for the insurance industry at the European level could make sense, and it would certainly help us at the SRB to manage the crisis of the financial conglomerate. So I understand that work is ongoing, and I think it's good news. 5, digitalization. Let me focus on DORA. DORA makes helpful references to the resolution framework and resolution authorities, and I would like to thank ECON committee for these inclusions in the text. Operational resilience is definitely important for us. We are currently working in implementing DORA, and obviously for us the ICT risk, including cyber, is one area which we are studying more and more. Let me finish by mentioning climate change as a sixth area, which is crucial for us because it impacts business models, obviously. So that's something we have to factor into our work. Let me conclude. After only 50 days or so, I have two preliminary conclusions. The first one is that the Single Resolution Board is a committed organization with clear milestones and with staff driven by professionalism. My second one is that the Assembly is also an institution with a lot on its plate. It must be able to tackle the challenges ahead, and of course, we have to deal with new pieces of legislation. Therefore, I hope that the strategic review I've mentioned will give us the tools and means for an agile and fit-for-purpose Assembly. I know I can count on your support, so we have a strong European resolution mechanism to promote financial stability and to protect the taxpayer. Thank you for your attention.